What's up, guys? This is PICK6TOUCHDOWN back today, bringing you a how to pilot a chopper and give tips and tricks on attacking aggressively and also playing defensively. It's an everything to do with the chopper and Battlefield 3 related commentary today. This tutorial is meant for beginners to learn the basics and for experienced players to learn some of the new tricks or fresh ones they don't regularly use but should. The first recommended step, for me anyway, this is what I use, is to change vertical flight stick layout to inverted. The chopper moves the way the sticks move this way. Not changing them makes it feel like piloting a chopper the way you would in real life, so if you prefer it that way, leave the settings exactly the way they are and don't touch anything. But bear in mind that when I say to move the right stick forward or backward, your control is the opposite. That's the only difference for you in this entire commentary, is whether or not you change the vertical layout. First, the basics. First thing I'd like to point out are the most common mistakes I see for rookies trying to pilot the chopper. The first is the forward motion, the second is the slowing down or stopping, third is trying to turn it, and last is landing it. I'll go over all of these troublesome points and how to do them or how to fix them if you're doing it wrong. From the starting point, right trigger begins your ascent, left trigger stops your ascent. Key point to remember is the chopper's thrust comes from underneath it, so the lift force comes from below. If you're a visual type of person, that point helps you a lot because you can visualize where the acceleration is coming from. It helps me knowing that. It helped me a lot once I found that out, actually. Left stick turns the entire chopper to the left or to the right, depending on which way you move the stick, and right stick tilts the entire chopper to the left or to the right. Do not push the right stick in too far on either direction, or the chopper will tilt sideways. Scary proposition, because being close to the ground means your blades will clip some low object or the ground and game over. Once you're in the air, move the right stick slightly forward to begin forward motion. Be careful, however, because moving the right stick forward too much will make the chopper nosedive. I've noticed, at least watching other commentaries when I tried to learn how to fly a chopper, that no other commentaries seem to give you tips on how to stop or slow down the chopper I mean. So in this one I'm going to. There's 3 key ways to do it. The first way is to move the right stick backward to counter your forward momentum. This is the easiest way to slow down when you wish to survey the scene, check out where the enemy tanks and other ground infantry are. The second way is to press both left trigger and right trigger and align the tilt indicator lines to 0. This will slow all forward momentum and stop your chopper. If it's done right, you will end up hovering. The last way is to simply let go of right trigger or your acceleration. Bear in mind that the chopper will also begin to slowly fall, so be aware of how high you are when you do this, because low obstacles are suddenly a danger to destroy your chopper. A key indicator to look for how high you are off the ground is to the right of the center crosshair. There should be a number in a little box. This lets you know how high you are off the ground. When moving, balance both the left and the right sticks by watching the alignment lines in front of you. If the lines are tilted to the left or to the right when compared to the center crosshair, adjust the right sticks to even it out. For example, if the lines look like a slash, it means the chopper is leaning to the left, so move the right stick to the right to balance it out. For turning, to make a gradual right turn, turn the left stick to the right, and for a left turn, you turn it to the left. Pretty simple. For a harder, quicker turn, move both the left and right sticks in one direction. For example, moving both the left and right sticks to the right make the chopper do a hard right turn. Make sure that after the turn is done that the lines indicating the tilt of the chopper are back to center and look like a vertical line. Otherwise your chopper will be sideways, leaning sideways. To strafe a target, move the left stick in the direction you wish to turn, and also move the right stick in the direction you wish to tilt your chopper, all while holding in right trigger to keep the chopper in the air. The general rule I use, however, is to move the right stick in the opposite direction that I move the left stick. This prevents any chance of accidentally tilting the chopper too much. The danger of this are the blades making contact with the ground or a low object. I disobey my own rule a lot, I know, but for rookies remember that rule because it will keep you alive until you figure out advanced chopper tricks. Landing is probably the most difficult skill to develop, especially early on, but it's one of the most important skills to develop too, so make sure not to ignore it. To do so, I use a few tricks. Following any of the above strategies I explained earlier on how to stop, make sure the alignment lines for tilt on forward motion is 0, and for sideways motion, make sure the lines look vertical and overlap the center crosshair. The crosshair should be in the center of your alignment lines. If you're moving too fast to be able to, compensate to adjust the tilt, just let go of right trigger and move the vertical tilt line to 0. Once adjusted to 0, gently press left trigger to bring the chopper down from the hover. Before moving on to attack strategies, I'd like to show you what's commonly called hover capping, and that is, hovering to capture a flag in Conquest. The strategy above from stopping also works here. Press both left and right trigger and make sure your chopper's forward tilt is at 0. You should now be hovering above the flag. If you're too high to see the flag being taken, or if you're too high to take the flag, like you don't see the meter moving, let some pressure off right trigger and gently press left trigger. This will bring the chopper slowly closer to the ground and into capping range. Once it's in capping range, try to find the balance between left trigger and right trigger until the flag has been taken. Okay, now, moving on to attack strategies. The very first step I usually take when I enter a chopper is to find and eliminate the enemy's chopper. Having air radar unlocked helps to find it significantly, but since this commentary is also based for rookies and they will not have it unlocked, just keep a good lookout for it and hope your gunner and teammates spot it for you. After I eliminate the chopper, I look for enemy tanks or maybe try my luck against jets. But for jets that have IR flares, infrared flares, or are piloted by experienced pilots, chasing them is usually a waste of time, at least in my experiences. The types of attacks that you can use, I'll break them down each one by one. The first one is the figure 8 pattern attack. It's the standard and most used attack style, but it's also most effective when it's done right because it's simple. It's like the pick and roll in basketball, very simple play, but it always works when done right. I usually use this strategy for attacking ground units, especially tanks. Fire the rockets at the target, turn the chopper around, and then attack from the opposite side and angle. Unless the tank knows or figures out your pattern, it's extremely hard to game plan for. Make sure that you change the angles of attack throughout the match, otherwise a smart tank driver will figure out your pattern and blow you right the hell up. Now, strafing is probably the most difficult attack style to perfect, but probably the most beneficial when you can perfect it. It involves facing the target but moving sideways as you attack. If you stay moving, it makes you a difficult target and allows you to bombard your target with every weapon you have. It also allows for a fast getaway if things did not go according to plan. It's the most difficult and dangerous in levels with hydro lines and trees, since you'll be at a medium to low altitude. Most times I end up blowing up in the chopper isn't by other choppers or stingers or something shooting at me. It's using this technique and not having a good enough eye on low objects that are around me. So I clip a hydro pole or some random low object and my chopper will blow up. So beware, use it at your own risk in areas with lots of objects. The low to high attack gives the element of surprise and is very simple in theory. It involves staying low and undetected until you rise up and launch your attack from the side or behind the other chopper. It almost always does major damage and is nearly impossible to defend when it's done right. It's best done against the enemy air. The death from above style attack gives the element of surprise as well. usually works best when you've got into the chopper and are attacking a chopper that's already out in the map. His tracking can't detect you because you're above him, but anything you have weapon-wise is at your disposal as well, so it's extremely beneficial when you're high. And remember, he who holds the high ground and uses stealth usually wins in any fight, especially involving choppers. Now, with regard to defense strategies, the ones that most great pilots use and are most effective are using cover that the map provides. This can be anything from a building to a mountain, anything that blocks a guy with a stinger or something to getting a lock on you. When you know other jet pilots are either really good or regularly are targeting choppers, make sure you stay in the medium or low altitude area of the sky, because jets that are piloted by great players will own the high grounds and choppers are sitting ducks. However, even the best of jet pilots will have the most difficult time attacking a chopper that's low to the ground because it's far more risky for them to mount a low attack. That's just a key point to keep in mind. If there's no cover available and you run into the worst case scenario and have no flares, try flying low and fast if no cover's around. In my experiences, the stingers or missiles fired by other choppers or jets have about a 50-50 rate of hit or missing, which is certainly better than the 100% rate when you're in the sky. Of course, the best defense is to spot everything you see and plan far ahead. An important point to remember is both the pilot and gunner should be in the engineering kit to repair the chopper if it takes damage. Make sure you unlock and use flares as much as possible, and have a gunner that has and uses them as well. Communication between the pilot and the gunner on when to use flares and what target you're going to be attacking next is also pivotal to success. All of these tips apply to attacking as well. Now, with regard to gunning strategies, always aim slightly ahead of your target if it's moving, otherwise you'll miss behind it. This is especially true in scout choppers. Always aim slightly below the crosshair when using miniguns for maximum effectiveness. Use burst fire when firing at infantry on the ground. Using full auto causes you to sometimes run out of shots faster if you're just getting hit markers, and the pilot has to move around and you'll miss. Burst fire also allows you to control the rate of fire, improves accuracy, and conserves the 30 rounds for in case you get in more than one encounter or have more than one target. I found I have a much higher success rate killing infantry when using burst fire. If you have the guided missile unlocked, aim at a ground target and fire, and as the missile hits the target, immediately switch to the gun to finish off the target. Do not delay. Always reload after any fired shot to be ready for the next encounter. Reload even if you only fired a few shots. These shots that you fired could be the difference between getting a hit marker on infantry or destroying or disabling an enemy vehicle. Okay, in conclusion, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned a few tricks from it, regardless of your skill level. I'm sharing with you what I've learned and what works best for me. I went from a guy who had absolutely no clue whatsoever on how to pilot a chopper when Battlefield 3 came out. I was that guy that immediately after I jumped in the chopper, it'd go in reverse and crash, and my teammates would get pissed. But now, I'm the guy that can wreck another team entirely with the chopper as long as I have a good gunner. My friend Andrew and Chris and Daniel, they work very well with me together. Anyway, give it a like if you found it informative and you learned something from it. If you have any criticisms or thought I left something out, also let me know that as well. Most of all, if you like what you see and you'd like more of the same, or have any ideas for tutorials, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment for what you like, and make sure you check out my other tutorials as well. Thanks for watching.